Hello everyone,
Hello
welcome.
everyone.
All right, sorry for that. Trying again. Hello everyone, thanks for everyone to attend our first Flame, our first event of Flame. And for those who don't know me, I'm Eric. I'm also know our community, our Discord server by Captain Black Pixel. And yeah, that's it. We'll start presenting the whole team of Flame, the people behind it. So I'm gonna start. And like I said, my name is Eric. I work on the Flame team since 2018, already a couple of years. And I'm from Brazil, and I have worked on a lot of features on Flame, sprite sheets, and I have some history there already there. And that's it. Let me pass the voice to another member. Go, Hannah, your turn.
Okay, thank you, Eric. My name is Renan. I'm also known as Renan on Discord, Renan Caps Lock. And I've been helping with Flutter with Flame for some time now, and I'm really happy to be here tonight. And yeah, that's it. Luan?
Hello everyone. My name is Luan. I am the original creator of Flame. I think it's been 3 years that I started. So I have been helping around in a lot of things, but I've been even more grateful for the community that helps us so much. Especially these three people here that you're seeing on screen. They build a lot of stuff, but also everybody on the chat, everybody online here. I know we have lots of PRs, we have lots of people uh, very enthusiastic about Flame and helping us, building a really nice platform and using it to build really, really cool stuff. So yeah, that's it for me. And let's go to Spider.
All right, thank you, Luan. Yeah, I have mostly been working on the physics engine in Flame called Box 2D and the integration between there. Also done quite a lot of the effects and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all for me. I've been working with Flame for a bit more than a year now, I think, so not as long as the other guys. But very happy to see such a fast-growing community too, and more games being created with Flame every week. Awesome to see. Yeah, I think it's time for the first talk, right, Eric?
Yeah, you're muted, Eric.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, let's start my first talk. Let me just share presentation with you. All right, so let's go. And on this talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about how can optimize sprite usage with Fire Atlas, which is a tool that we have built especially for that reason. So, all right, let's start. So before I start talking about the editor itself, there's some topics that I want to talk about asset management. So I have a few talks here. Of course, this subject has a lot of talks, so I'm gonna to stay on that. Otherwise, we're gonna have a talk in endless time here. So all right, so I think the first step that I need to talk about is about assets organization. So like basic things like how we're gonna organize the folders of the assets of our game, where you're gonna put the sprites, the music, all the stuff that we need to run the game. How the next assets load into game. So how do we load that into our game? How do we turn that file on the pack, that physical file, in the memory of the game so we can use on the game? The size that the asset have on disk or like on the package, the real file size, the real size of the file. So it matters a lot, especially on mobile game development, where every now and then we get bad reviews because a game or an app is quite big. So that matters on games, and I think it matters especially on mobile games. And finally, how we can turn a file into a game object. So like it's not just loading the asset into memory, it should turn that into a game object, right? So for example, on an animation, we need to get the file, that image that we loaded, and apply the time frame, the frame count, and turn that into a real animation. So those are a few talks that we need to think about asset management. And here I'm showing you a very basic approach on how to handle that. So here on this image, I have listed an example of an project that we have on Fireslime. It's an example game that we do a lot of tests, and this is all the sprites that the game have. So we have here one file per game object, let's say. So one file for the bullet, one file for the enemy animation, one file for the player, one for the exposure, one for the star's background. And here on the right, I have put a little snippet of how we can load individual files on Flame. So this is Flame code, and this is very easy to load a file on Flame. So we can just call a constructor like that, inform it the name of the file, and some additional information relevant for how to turn that file into animation itself. And this approach is very, very easy to start using because Flame take cares of a lot of stuff for you. It autoloads the image, it handles the loading stage of the asset. So it is very easy to start implementation, and it works great for small games. So I think it's important to say that depending on the game you are making, this is enough for your game. You don't need to worry about any more complex approach of loading files. And here I'm going to present a different approach. So this technique is called Texture Atlas, and it is a technique that you can basically join a lot of images that maybe they are not like really related. So for example, on this image, we can see like sprites of characters, sprites of spells, sprites of the weapons, and here down below we can see sprites from the background, from the tile set of the game. And this is a very old technique. People use it from very early game development, and it has some advantages. One of them is to reduce the file of your assets on game, and how you can use it. So I'm going to show how you can use that. So before I show how we can use the Texture Atlas in Flame, I want to show this example of why this using Texture Atlas reduces file size. So here I have listed the size of individual files. This is the real size of the files I presented on the early sprites. And when adding all of the sizes, we have this total. So this is a total of the all individual files that we will see on our final package of the game. And here I have taken all these images and turned it into a single file that have all images there. And you can see that we have a significant reduce on the final size of the file. So imagine that even on this simple and small example, you can see like almost a 200 bytes reduction on the file size. So imagine on a big project where we have a bigger Texture Atlas, because on a bigger file, the image compressions work better than on small files. So that's why we notice that those reductions on file size. And also, we have less I/O operations, so we need to read less files from our file system. So I think it's pretty well known that file read operations are somehow slow operations because need to go to the file system, of the device, of the computer, then load that on the memory. So usually it's faster to load one bigger file than several smaller files. So we also have this advantage of using texture atlases. And all right, this is awesome. We can reduce our file operations, we can reduce our final package size, but not everything's perfect, right? So what is the catch on that? So here I have an example of another game that we are making, and this is the one of our texture atlas there. And we can note that there is a lot there are dozens of individual sprites here. When we started to develop this, we have few. So on the first iteration of the game, we had like only this first line of sprites. And here you can see the code that we use to load that. So for that, we use a class from Flame that's called sprite sheet that lets you easily map the tile size of your sprite sheet and makes it easy for you to access the individual sprites by just an index. And that is fine for small images. But when you have a bunch of when you have a bunch of sprites, this code starts to grow and grow and grow, and it's very, very hard to maintain this. I can count how many hours I stay looking at this and confused because I messed with one index. And anyway, can turn on a mess very quickly. So that's where enters FireAtlas. So what is FireAtlas actually? So FireAtlas is a free tool that enables easy mapping and organization of sprites and animations from textures for Flame. Why I have struck through Flame there is because the format that FireAtlas exports is a generic file. So eventually any engine could make a runtime for that and use it on games other than Flame. And it consists of an online tool and progressive apps works. I'm gonna show that. And hopefully we can make for desktop one day so we can have better native experience. And that tool is used for the creation of the mappings. So we can visually create our mappings of a texture atlas in a visual and easy way to do. And additional to the editor, we have the package for Flame that already reads the file exported by the editor and renders the sprite or the animation on our game. So a better show than I'm gonna try to make a live demo coding, and we show how to use it. Oops. All right, so let me just get my code here. So first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to open FireAtlas. Here you can see I'm already using the progressive app. And I'm going to create a new atlas for our game. I'm going to name it the FireAtlas Rogue Shooter. That is because this is the name of the game that I'm going to choose. Here I need to inform you what is the tile width and tile height that my texture atlas uses. And here I'm going to select my initial image. So let me just find it on the Finder. So, all right, projects, game dev, rogue shooter. Oh, no, game assets, images, and I'm going to start with the player image. All right, so here is what FireAtlas looks like. So before I start to assembling my entire image, let me show how to create images on that. So on FireAtlas, you can do two things: create sprites or create animations. So if I want to create a sprite of the still image of this first frame of our player image, I can just select here. So I'm going to select the first one, click here, and give it a name. So I'm going to name it player still, for example. Mark it as a sprite, and done. I have a first selection here. But now I want to make it the animation of it. So because there's a lot of frames, this is an animation. Same thing, I select the side, the full length of the image that I want to animate. Click here. I'm going to call this player, market animation, inform me how many frames you have, and the step time of each frame is in milliseconds. I need to mark if it's a loop animation or not, and hit create animation. And here on preview, you can see a nice preview of the animation. So we can, for example, I think it's too slow, 200 millis. So I can just go here, change for 100 milliseconds, and all right, I think it's better now. All right, so okay, we have our first part of the image here. So we need to add more images, right? To make our Atlas image. So I'm gonna select the next one. I'm gonna add the explosion next. Okay, and I'm gonna add this image on the bottom of the original image. And there you go. Let's just zoom out here a little, move this a little more zoom. All right, and there you go. I have added the explosion here. Let's just create the animation for that. Let's call this just explosion animation. There is 6 frames on that image, and explosion needs to go fast, so 50 milliseconds. Let's just check our animation, and all right, it's very nice. Let's add more tool here. I need to add the enemy now. Oh, all right. So before I do that, I almost forgot. We have a blank space here, so it would be nice to use that instead of concatenating the next image down or up or anywhere. So I know that my enemy animation has four sprites, and each one of them has 1 tile of size. So I will just select this area and go here and then select the enemy, and I will mark selection. And there you go. I have added the image there. Let's add our animation for them. It is enemy. It has 4 frames, and I think 100 will be fine. There you go. And to finish, I'm gonna add the bullet image here. There we go. Mark selection, and let's create sorry, an animation for that. Bullet, frame count for 2, and I think 50 milliseconds fine too. Just see, and there you go. So I will just save my atlases here, and I'm gonna export it by using this file. It's downloaded, and now I'm gonna show you how can we add this Fire Atlas on our game. So let me change some screens here. Let me open a terminal. All right, I'm already at the game. Okay, so let me go to my editor. And all right, let me just add some zoom here. Please let me know in the comments if the zoom is enough. All right, so first thing that we need to do, I'm going to add the dependence of the Flame Fire Atlas dependency on our project. So let's add it to our pub spec. So Flame, I think is 0.0.4, our current version. And I'm going to already add let's add the asset on our game, our Fire Atlas asset here. So I'm going to add it on images because it's almost called an image. So let's move the Fire Atlas file from my download folder to the asset folder. All right, there you go. Let me add it here on our pub spec. Push return. That's fine, just a Flutter pub-get so it can grab the dependency and it will make the file available for us. And all right, so now I'm gonna refactor this game to use our Fire Atlas instead of the images. So since it is an example game and is just used for a presentation sake, I'm gonna just make a very simple way to load assets on our game. So I'm gonna just create an asset file on our lib here. And I'm gonna import the Fire Atlas dependency. I'm gonna create our assets file and just create our Fire Atlas as a static here. Again, this is just a simple way for presentation, but on a real game, you will want a better asset management than this. All right, so let's put it here. I'm just gonna create an static method here for the loading of this. So our Atlas Atlas dot from asset and images slash hold shooter dot okay. Oh, I missed the async, I think. The await, sorry. And there you go. I will just load this on our main file here. Oops, I'm sorry. That's not what I want to do. I want to run the man on the game. My bad. There you go. Let's just load this first thing. So assets.load. And all right, this is the unimportant part. This is just the loading of the ads. Now I'm going to start to refactor all my components to use Fire Atlas file instead of using individual file loading. So let's go. I'm going to start by the bullet. And here, for everyone that's familiar with Flame components, this should be no mystery. I just have an animation component, and here I'm just loading the animation like I showed on the slide earlier. So first thing that I'm going to do is import my assets file here. There you go. And I'm going to just, the only thing I should do is replace this by assets.get animation. Sorry, assets.atlas.get animation. And here the name of the animation that we defined there on the editor. There you go. Let's do the same for the enemy component. Let's just import it here. Let's do the same here. Get animation. Sorry. And our animation name is enemy. There you go. I don't need this anymore. The next one it should change is the explosion. Okay. Let's import our assets. Assets.atlas.get animation explosion. There you go. And for the player, all right, I just need to change it here. .atlas.get animation player. All right, so now let me just run the game and hope I didn't make any mistake. We will see. Let me just first thing mirror my device screen here so we can see the game running. Here we go. There we go. And let's just Flutter run. Oops, I'm in the wrong folder, sorry. And Flutter run. Hopefully it will be fast. And I haven't made any mistake. Come on, Gretel. Hi. Stalling. And let me remove the sound, or we will have some noise here. And there you go. You can see our game running using Fire Atlas animations. It's the same thing that the game was before, but hopefully you have a better as organization right now. All right, that's it for the live code I want to make. Let me get back to the presentation. All right, so what do we have planned for the future of this tool? So one thing that we know that has a lot of room for improvement is the final file size of Fire Atlas. When I developed Fire Atlas, I decided to go on a single file approach. So all the mappings and the file are embedded on the same file. So we have one file for the image and for the mappings. So when we start developing it, we start very simple. So many things like the mapping, for example, is just a JSON file. So on big atlases, we can have a lot of mappings, and that can increase the size of the file, for example. So we know that there's a lot of ways to compact JSONs and make it, or even using another format for the mappings that uses less space. So we know that that's something we need to improve in the future. And of course, we want to add more features on the editor. We know that there's a lot of usability things that could be improved, and we will continue to work on the tool to make it even better. Hopefully, can make a desktop version eventually. Desktop was my first thought of running this, but at that time the Flutter desktop was very it still is on very on its early stages, and I didn't find a very good file picker plugin. So that was what made me go to the web approach. Mobile, we have been thinking on releasing maybe for tablets, iPads, or and Android tablets. We're not sure if it will bring any value, because I think most of its use would be on desktop. So that's why the question mark. And any more suggestions that the community could suggest to us. And of course, we are always open to pull requests and suggestions, and please contribute to the community and the project. And that's it, what I want to present. And here I'm gonna share the slides later so everyone can grab the links and everything. So here we have the links for the OM tool, the GitHub repository of the editor and the package. And down below here we have the source code for the live demo that we did right now. And that's it. I think we have a few minutes for questions. So let me bring everybody to the stream again. And
I think there's already a few questions on the chat. I saw one here asking more about what exactly is the FA format, like how it's encoded.
All right, so like I mentioned, we went on a very simple approach, so we could focus on the editor itself. So the current format is a very simple thing. It's basically a JSON file with the mappings and the image converted to base64 format. And to compensate the size that the base64 format would would add to the final size, we use gzip to compact the file. So we know that's not the optimal way to embed the image, but since we have a lot to do for the editor, we choose a simple format for the time, but it's already on our plans to make it even better. But it's worth mention that the file size is very near of just the image. So the file size is not a concern right now. We just know that it could be better. So we will improve that on the future.
So to be clear, you could have removed the original assets, the PNG assets, because I think you left them on your pub spec.
Sure,
but
yeah,
it's already included on the FA file.
Yeah, the FA file is an auto-contained file, so it have the image and the mappings. I just forgot to remove on the presentation, but yeah, I should have removed it.
Nice.
All right, any more questions? Otherwise,
I see one more. Do you recommend having all the tiles of all the scenarios in a single file?
sorry, I didn't get the question.
Do you recommend having all of the tiles of all of the scenarios in a single file? So all the assets of the game in a single file.
All right. It depends a lot. So it depends on how big that file you turn to be. So for example, if you have a very big game, if you very different stages that each stage has one different tile set, I recommend we split the files into, let's say, grouped atlases. So you get all the images that will be used together on a contest and use it on its own FA file. But if your game it's not that big and your asset is not that big, for example, we at Fire Slime we like to make pixel art games, and pixel art files are very small, like 2 KB, 3 KB. So depend if your game is medium or average size, it's maybe be worth to use a single texture atlas. One important thing to consider that is that when the image is loaded on memory, it have its raw size on the memory. So if you load a bunch of images on a single time, you may crash for lack of memory on your game. So, like, I think it's depend a lot from our game and what you're going to build, what's your art style is. Usually, I like to keep them organized per context. So I will have one Fire Atlas for the character, one Fire Atlas for the, the items, group them by context. But that's my personal opinion. There's no silver bullet on that. We need to test and find a better solution for each case.
It's a trade-off between the number of loads that you're going to have and the amount of memory that you're going to waste having all these assets at once.
Totally.
Okay, next question. Does Fire Atlas allow you to increase the game performance with sprite batch, for example, of only to organize better? I think the question is, does it improve performance using sprite batch, or is it just for organization?
Okay. All right. So when we developed Fire Atlas, we didn't have the sprite batch API on Flame very mature. So for Fire Atlas, we choose to use the plain sprite API. And so no, Fire Atlas doesn't use sprite batch API, but it sure is an improvement that we can use on eventually.
And the nice thing is that if we ever do that, and if you use Fire Atlas, there'll be no change for you. You will already get all the benefits just by updating the version.
Yeah. I mean, it may not work for animations because animation is very, how can I say, rooted on the sprite API. But I mean, there's nothing stopping us for also refactoring animation API to use sprite batch event.
Sprite batch, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that can improve in the future.
We have more questions. Does the FA file recognize the name of the image?
Not sure I understand that.
I think the question is like when you use it, you provide like a string to identify the image. And the question is whether is that the name of the file that you originally had? Like where does that come from? How do you identify each file?
You mean the name of the selections you made, the name of the sprites, the animations?
Yeah.
If it's that, then it's up to you. I just name player because that was the player animation, and
So you
on.
can input the name into the tool that you want when you
Yeah.
add.
Yeah. So let me bring the editor again, and here you can see that I can just let's just create like this, and I'm gonna call it short explosion, and I could name it whatever I want here. So
and that has nothing to do with the original file name of where that piece comes from. Especially because, as you're just showing, you can actually make several sprites from the same portion of the image, which is pretty cool. So normally, like you can have like a standstill sprite, which is the first frame of an animation that includes that, and then it's the walking animation, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. If I misinterpret your question, please feel free to ask again. I'm trying to go to the chat, and if I miss something, please ask again as well.
Yeah.
Like how I interpreted this question was that maybe he didn't understand that the file isn't already inside of the FA file. So the other file can be removed completely afterwards. Like there's no need for it.
Yeah. The PNG files, you mean, right? So that could be removed. That should be removed. I forgot to remove from my presentation. But yeah, you don't need them anymore. All right. I think we have a lot of questions already. So we used a lot of time.
I think we have one more, but I think it's the same pretty much. Like how to identify. It's the name you give in the tool, and I think that's it.
Yeah, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to contact me on Discord. We have a channel there exclusively for Fire Atlas. So yeah, just tag me and we can solve your doubts there.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Very well. So before we go to the next presentation, I believe Renan has a few things he wants to present. So I'm gonna leave him alone here on the stream, and the stage is all yours, Renan.
Nice. Let me see if I can share my screen. And I think we are good to go. Well, yeah, this should be really fast. It's just a really quick talk. I want to tell you, people, it's about the context and some things that we have been working on for Flame. Flame has been growing a lot. Flame is one of the biggest Flutter packages out there, and we just passed the milestone of 3K stars on the repository. And as a result of this big community around the package, we have new features arriving to the framework by the day. So we figured that maybe the time for releasing a more stable version, 1.0, is quite near. It's on the horizons. We have an article. Luan published an article about that on our dev tool. And yeah, we have been working on some things, on some stuff, but there is some stuff that we thought that we should take care as well, and that's not properly code. So since the beginning of the repository, since Luan created and since all of us joined him on this package, on this framework, and we got two main symbols that we use to represent Flame out there. One of this icon, and the other is a typography, and we have this animated squares floating around that you can see both of them on our website. But we got some issues with them. First of all, the typography was originally made with CSS, so it's quite difficult to part this animation into a Flutter app, and that doesn't quite represent what Flame is. So we don't use CSS animations, and it's quite hard to get, for instance, transparent background on this animation. And the other one is this logo that we have that, yeah, we got
Sorry to
some.
interrupt you, but I don't know
Yeah.
what's happened to our screen share, but there is
Oh my God. Yeah.
some red
Okay.
bars
Let me,
blocking all the presentation.
okay. Let me try again. Let's hope this time works without changing anything. Okay. Can you see it? Okay. Yeah. I think it's a Mac problem.
Carry
So
on.
sorry for that. Some technical problems. And now, yeah, we can have some issues with the logo. So we did this new icon, and this is the new logo. Okay, the big time, and it's frozen again. I'm just gonna start again. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah. And this is the new logo. I don't know if people can see. Okay, thank you. And actually, it's not only the logo. We have all of the visual identity behind it. Oh, sorry. I think I'm gonna reset here a little bit.
Share the presentation for me, and I present here.
Okay, yeah. Just 1 second. Okay. Save 1 second. Okay, I will send to you here. Yeah, that's why I should be using a Linux machine. It's a punishment
All right,
for
I
my
just got
betrayal.
it. Sure. Just ask me to pass the slides that I will pass here.
Okay, yeah, you can go to the next slide. And yeah, as I was saying, this is a new logo that we have designed for Flame, and actually have some more elements. And next slide, Eric, please. We have some dispositions, some colors, and a color palette, and also a custom-made font for that. Next slide, please. So as a consequence of that, we will have some updates that we will do on all of our documentation, our website, the readmes from all of our packages, and also we will create an animated version of the logo using Rive. Yeah, we update splash screen. The splash screen shall have some new and some beautiful animations. And you can go next now. And right now, you can get merch. Next slide, please. Merch is a way that you can support Flame. You have already two ways of supporting Flame. You can support Flame through a donation or become a patron, or now you can buy merch, and it's a nice way to support the team, and at the same time you'll be looking good, and really our merch are really beautiful. You should see it. Next slide, please. And also this brand, this new all of I show here is open source. So this repository right there is where we have all the source files and some dispositions of the logo, some samples. So if you are going to use that anywhere, if you want to print a sticker or something like that, feel free to do it. We have the vectors and everything. Everything is open source. And yeah, next slide is thank you. And we shall now head to the next presentation. Yeah, Eric, please come back. Come along here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I believe now we have our next presentation. Gonna call our special guest, Rafael, to the stream. Bye-bye, Renan. All right. So here we have Rafael. He's going to make us a very good presentation about an incredible pack that he's building on top of Flame Bonfire, where you can build incredible RPGs. So yeah, that's it. The stage is yours, Rafa, and all right, it's all
Okay.
yours.
Hi everyone. Share my screen. Oh, okay. Hi everyone again. I would first like to thank the Flame team for inviting me to this event. Thank you very much. My name is Rafael Barbosa. I'm from Brazil. I'm a mobile developer, specifically Android and Flutter. I'm part of the community Flutter BR, and I'm more in love in Flutter. So I will be present to you building RPG games with Bonfire. How did Bonfire come about? To answer that, you need to talk a little about myself. Um, Since my childhood, I was a super fan of RPG games. I played the games like Ragnarok, World of Warcraft, MU Online, etc. Uh, Once in a while, I liked to play with 3D modeling with Blender and build things with Unity. So when I meet Flame, the first thing that came to my head was, can I build an RPG game with this? Uh, so I decided to try to build a game. And this drawing built several components such as map system, decoration, camera system, collision, player movement, enemy movement, attack system, joystick, etc. And the result was my first game, Darkness Dungeon. If you want, you can download this game. It's available on the Play Store and Apple Store. After finishing this game, I thought I made several components that be useful for other people that build their games. Why not share this? Then Bonfire came up. Bonfire is a package that uses Flame and helps build RPG games or similar with Flutter. Okay. Bonfire is ideal for build games for perspectives 45 and 67 and 9 degrees. And Bonfire is basically a widget. We can pass these parameters and configurations, and he performs the scene. We have a game controller, joystick, map, player, interface, background, custom mode, chocolate writer, etc. Many configurations. How it works? Basically, Bonfire consists in 8 components that are rendered in the order, bottom to top. The first is map, after that decoration, enemy, player, objects, layer, game interface, and joystick. The first is map. We can build the map in 2 ways, using tiled or manually passing a tile list. I recommend using tiled. I have to this tiled world map. It's very Simple. Just need to pass the path of the JSON file generated by Tiled. And we can register components to be added to the map. We use register objects. It's good to add enemies and decoration with behaviors in the map. The decoration. Decoration, sorry, is any objects you went to add in the map, like barrel, chest, spikes, table, etc. You can build this in 4 ways: with sprite multi-collision, with animation, and animation multi-collision. If you want to create a decoration with some behavior, you can create a class, extended game decoration, fill in the requirement parameters, and implement this behavior using update and render methods. The enemy. We have 2 types: enemy, simple and rotation. The simple enemy is for games with perspectives as 46 and 65 degrees. Basically, this enemy have animation to all directions. We have energy position, height, width, life, speed, collision in each direction, and the animations. It's not necessary fill our animation. Is required only either right, either left, run right and run left. And the rotation, 2 games, 4 games, perspective top down. And in this anime, we have only 2 animation, idle and run, because in this case, Bonfire work rotation of the component. Okay, ready. Now you know how to create our anime. To give the movement, we have some already made function that are extension from anime that will help us to give a movement. Are they C player, C move to player, C move to attack range, simple attack melee, and simple attack range. Example. If you put C and move it to player in the update of the enemy, we have this behavior. The enemy chases player. Let's see the video. Other example, if you put C and move it to attack range in the update of the enemy, we have this behavior. The enemy try keep a mean distance to execute attack. Okay. Custom enemy. If you want to do something more customized than these 2 types, you can create your own. Just create a class, extend from enemy, and you will already have access to these motion functions. Move top, move bottom, left, right, etc. The player, similar of the enemy, we have 2 types: simple and rotation. Is equal enemy. Simple player to perspective 45 and 65 perspectives, animation all directions. and rotation player for games top-down. Players, here we also have some useful functions. Simple attack miss, simple attack range, show damage, see enemy, add fast animation, and others. Is many other functions. So, the main difference between enemy and player is the interaction with the joystick. In the player, we can listen the interaction with the joystick through these methods: joystick change directional and joystick action. When moving the joystick directional, the movement is already done automatically. We would only need to handle the actions. Okay. Similar element, custom player. You can create your customize the player. Okay, lighting. Bonfire, we have a basic lighting system. Choose it just add a mixing, call it lighting here to your component, and set it in the lighting config variable. So you can configure color and radius, and pierce animation. This is the result. The game interface. You can assemble your interface by creating the class extended from game interface and adding your interface component. In this example, I add first one custom interface component, bar life component, and the second add the simple interface component. You configure a sprite. You can configure a sprite selected, with ID, the position in the screen, and tab callback. This example, we've created a custom interface component, just extend from the interface component. And finally, joystick. Bonfire already has a component ready. Just configure your directional and your action. We have these parameters, these many configurations. And example, just this code, we have in the screen a directional work. The actions, you can add actions like this, and we have in the screen these actions. You can add many actions here. Okay, we try a little project here. Okay, I reserved something to this. We have here player sprite sheet. We can hear animation either right, left, and run, right, and left. It's very simple. The map, this is files generated by Taled. I will open this. You see. So, is map. A simple example. Okay. Let's create a project. Okay. New project. Further. I'm sorry. FlameCon. Okay. Import Bonfire. Okay. And register Fire's assets. Hmm. You create folders. FlameCon. Create folder assets. Images, and put here the files map and the player sprite sheet map. I copied there. Explain this later. Okay. And clean the clean here. Okay. Again. FlameCon game. Remove title. I'm sorry. Okay. I use a Bonfire widget. Pass the map. Map is tiled word map. And the path of the file is map. Map. My map dot.json. Oh, this bug understood. Helping this. Okay, find device. Run this project. Where we see the result. Okay. Go. Not find the files. Okay. Assets, images. Oh, map. Okay. Map is not maps. So you can see it's map loaded here, and set total size to get a little bigger. Okay. Run again. Okay. Reset the joystick. Joystick and joystick. We can do directional. Joystick directional. Only this. Run again.
Rafa, some people are asking to zoom in the code a little bit because it's hard to spot on the screen.
I'm so sorry. I'm not understanding.
Could you zoom a little bit the size
Okay.
of the editor, please?
It's good.
Yeah. If people are not fine, just comment then we zoom a little more. Thank you. Sorry. Well,
Okay. With joystick, you can explore the map. Okay. Already have the map. Create a player. So let's create file. Extend a simple player. Let's keep that out. Oh. What's right with this? Oh, player. And pass the required parameters. In each position. Okay. We have these 4 animations. This sprite sheet player, the class only load the animation from sprite sheet, the animation idle and run. And use this now. Idle left. Right. Run, left, run, right. Okay. Go right, go left.
Rafa, don't forget to zoom in when you open new editors. The code's small again. Thank you.
Okay. Here, configuration position and animation. Okay. It's not have. Okay. Use italicize. Oh. Okay. We can put our player in the game. Parameter player. The player. In position. Size. Okay. Run again. The player. Oh, the name. Okay. It's the same name of the class Bonfire. Run again. And we have the player in the game. See, it's very easy. We have a lighting, set lighting color game, and the world color lighting, and color is black. Okay. The game in the night. Just add mixing lighting and config lighting config. Okay, radius and blue and play again. We have the simple lighting in the game. So the collision, you can see a little wrong. We can show collisions, show collision set true, and the collision is in the above. Okay, you can set collision field department collision. Click and hit. Alright, access sheet 0. Okay, wrong again. It's better. And move the show collision. And we have the first game with Bonfire. Okay. So these are the main components of Bonfire. There are many other things, but mastering them, you can create games like these examples available in the documentation. And this other example, example of how to work and multi-scenes with Bonfire. Navigate in another scene and back, go to the next scene. Okay. Is this the some contribution, improvement, and new feature is welcome. Please open pull request of the repository. And this is thank you. Thank you all very much for your attention and patience. I hope you enjoyed. This is my GitHub and my Twitter and the link documentation of the Bonfire. Thank you.
All right. Very nice, Rafa. Thank you. Let me bring everyone on the stream again. And does anyone have any questions for Rafa? Just hit the chat and question time, people. Yes. No one? I have one. When we will have that awesome lightning system on Flame?
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I will go add this in the flame. I will thinking in the way better to the add in the flame. The way more generic.
Yeah. I know. I'm just kidding. I feel sorry. I couldn't resist myself. So we have a question here from the apps. So let me put it on the screen. So do you think it's gonna be hard to create a turn-based RPG like Chrono Trigger and other with screen transitions in a battle like Chrono Cross with World War 3?
Sorry, I'm not understand. Please.
I think it's just more like asking for a future requests, right? So I think Bonfire now only supports action battle systems, so you actively fight the enemies. And I think the apps is asking if we will see any kind of turn-based action system on Bonfire.
Okay. Um, Sorry, Eric, I'm not understand. You can speak in Portuguese?
Yes.
Claro. O Jama está perguntando se você prevê algum dia ter sistema de batalhas em turnos, sabe? Tipo Final Fantasy, Pokémon,
Ok.
em vez de só action system, como Zelda, por exemplo, nem tem hoje.
Não entendi. O sistema que temos hoje é possível, sim, já fazer, mas não tem nada específico para isso, né? Você pode simplesmente ocultar, não passar o parâmetro joystick e pegar as interações com tab, né? Que a gente tem os mixes de tab lá, então ele pode, tipo, selecionar o teu personagem, direcionar um ataque para outro personagem. Então dá para fazer, só que não tem um sistema específico para isso ainda. Mas é uma boa pedida.
Oh, beleza. So let me translate that. So Rafa said that today there's no shortcuts for doing that. It's possible, but you need to work on the things available for Bonfire to make that happen. So yeah, that's it. That you can do that, but there is no shortcuts, no helpers like there is for the action battle system.
Yeah, what you have to remember though is that like everything is just Flutter widgets, so you can put in another flame on top of there if you want to, or you can. Yeah, it would be easy to like just sew it together with other things, even though you don't get any help from Bonfire, I think.
True. There's another question here. So, let me find it here. All right. So, can we change the UI of the joystick?
Yes, it is possible to change. You can pass these parameters. We can set the sprite background, knob, sprite normal, impressed. You can configure colors, lean, and configurations.
Awesome.
Is the same joystick ready in the flame?
Oh yeah, we have that component there on Flame, right? I remember that. Nice. All right, have another one here. So, what about a Bonfire editor? Any thoughts?
Esse é um sonho. Quem sabe it's a dream. Maybe, né? I work with this. If I want many more person contribute in the project, I think this is possible.
That would be awesome. All right, so any more questions? Okay, so does Flame provide support for online multiplayer integration? If so, how would you do this integration? Yeah, okay, so I think I can answer that. So I know you can comment a little more. If you want to comment in Portuguese, feel free, Rafa, but let me start with something. So Flame does not provide anything out of the box. So you can do multiplayer games, but Flame provides no helpers for that. We don't deal with networking yet, at least. Want to compliment, Rafa? Feel free.
No. It's this. I try make a multiplayer game. I use the Secretary and other projects I see in the Discord. I'll use the Secretary, but not specifically with a good performance to the big projects in multiplayer, real time, shotgun, etc.
All right. Is Flame entirely written in Dart and Flutter? Yes. Right?
Well, we use the audio players plugin.
Yeah.
I think most games have audio, right? That's very important, and that is a native plugin. So it has Dart, but it also has the counterparts on the native platforms. But the Flame package itself is 100% Dart.
Next one.
Eric, I think you skipped one question from the past.
Sorry.
But yeah, you can go with that one if you want, and we can go back.
Which one?
I don't know how to feature it, but the question is it possible to use multiple attacks or skill functions as a list?
Yeah, this is for Bonfire.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I really missed that. So
Can you have multiple attacks, like different kinds of attacks, maybe a different sword or an axe, or several skills, different spells?
Multiple attacks. Yes, it's possible. I speak in português.
Vai em frente.
É possível. Você pode chamar de várias formas, configurando essas funções que temos úteis aqui. Aqui tem vários parâmetros que podemos configurar as animações e o tipo de ataque. Então, só basta você adicionar as actions para cada tipo de ataque do personagem, ele vai executar esses tipos diferentes de ataque. Não tem muita dificuldade não, é bem simples. E se você necessitar que a animação do personagem seja diferente, por exemplo, ele fazer um movimento do ataque, aí você pode usar esse Add Fast Animation, que ele vai fazer a animação do personagem atacando, depois volta à última animação válida, que foi o ido, ou correndo, etc.
Nice. So translating what Rafa said, basically, yes, you can have multiple attacks. That player extensions enable you to configure our attacks. You can have different kinds of animations. So, yep, that's possible. You can extend them, have different types of attacks, skills, and so on. Okay, next question. We must have a group animation component. Yes. We just need to implement that. Don't pressure us. Next one. What architecture, MVVM, MVVC, and time patterns do you use to create games with Flutter? Okay, this is more a general question, so I'm gonna start, and please, Lucas, everybody follows. I think that those type of architectures don't fit well on games. We like this. The usually architecture that we use on apps, like the one you said, MVVM, MVC, don't fit well in games. Usually what I like to use is the architecture called ECS, that's the acronym for Entity Component System. And uh, Flame use a system very similar to that, and that's what I like to use. So I suggest you take a look on this architecture is very famous. You will find a lot of material on the web. Anyone?
Yeah, I think one important thing about Flame is that and I think this is since from the beginning, it doesn't force you to use anything. So it's not opinionated about how we're going to structure a game. So you can easily stitch together whatever you want. So you could use those you mentioned. I agree with Eric that ECS is a very famous pattern for using in games, and what Flame has of more structure is the component system, which is kind of similar to ECS. So you can make very similar implementation using that. But I think at most, you're building a game, you're having fun, so use whatever you like. Flame will accept any design patterns you choose.
Yeah, I think just hopping into this discussion about architecture, the way we put the game in the screen is a widget. So it's all a Flutter widget. That's the principle, and therefore you can use any state management you want to, if you need to, and if it's fancy for you, you can integrate with everything from the Flutter ecosystem into a Flame game.
Cool. All right, so I think we have a few more questions. I think that's the last one. Flame is a good start in the world of video game development for people with zero knowledge. I think so. I think the only overhead we will have to use Flame is if you are not familiar with Flutter. So if you are a developer that is not familiar with Flutter, you will need to learn a little bit of Flutter, then learn Flame. But if you already knows Flutter, then Flame is a very good entry point for you into the video games development. So yeah, I think that's a very good start for you on developing games. The only thing you will not be able to do with Flame are 3D games. So if you want to do 3D games, that's not a possibility right now. But if you are 2D games, you're golden. Just get started. Okay. Thanks, Lana.
We have one nice question.
Okay. I think there was a question about the pattern that we mentioned.
Yeah, excuse me, could you write the name of the pattern that you mentioned?
Yeah. It's like Kyle said, it's ECS, Entity Component System. That's the one.
After that, we have one about a widget.
You might oh, okay, sorry. I thought that was a question. Just comment.
No, it's from Morgan Hunt.
Image size, sprite sheet, and how to cram them. I think the app is asking specific about Bonfire on this.
I think that's just a follow-up on the other question. He's saying that these concepts that he mentioned were hard for him to grasp coming to Flame without any baggage in game development. Yep. I think one thing which might make Flame not perfect is maybe we have a lack of good tutorials. We have a very good series by Alekin, which I do recommend, but we definitely should have more stuff. I think that's one drawback. Yeah. But I do think the engine itself is super simple. I think it's a really good a way to start. We might just need to improve on documentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have quite a lot of examples too, if you want to test out some small feature in our feature set.
Yeah,
like the Anakin tutorials are very, very good, but they're starting to get a little bit outdated too. So we really need to do some updated tutorials.
Yeah, but we do like on tutorials, but to complement that, we have a very active community. So our Discord is all the time active, and so we can always help you to without any question. So that is this. All right, another question. Do you think that Flame can already be used for professional game development? Yeah, I think this is a personal opinion. I want to make this clear, but I do think there is a lot of games on the community that there are people very serious about that. I suggest you taking a look about one special game called Tomb Touch. It's a very, very nice game and very cool game. And yeah, I think Flames is already ready to be used as commercial games for professional use. Of course, there's a lot to improve, but you can already use it to make it.
It's definitely not as mature as something that has been around for decades, But I think definitely you can use it, and if you need something, you can always improve. It's open source. We have all the community. We're like always helping.
Yeah, and super simple to do it for several platforms in one.
That's a very good advantage.
I have one question here that I want you to react to Luan, as he is the author of the Flame. So, what motivated you guys to create Flame and create games with Flutter?
Okay, so I always loved games for sure, and I always liked developing games. So since I was a kid, I was always experimenting with. I played a lot of RPG Maker, which is very similar to Bonfire, and started coding. And yeah, that's some background on me. And then some time ago, like three years ago now, I don't know, I don't remember how long ago it was, I discovered Flutter. And I remember back then my mentor said, hey, this is a really nice technology, you should take a look into it. And I said, what should I do? And I really like games. I said, I know, I'm going to make a game. But there are no game engines, I quickly realized, on Flutter back then. And then I started digging, like how hard would it be to make a game without any engine. And I started to build something, and I realized, wait, I can actually extract this and make something that we can reuse to other games. And that's how it started.
Nice. Yeah, I think I have a similar story because I was heavily influenced by Luan because we started to make games together, and back then I was only the artist or the manager according to him. But I am a programmer and I love games, and when the more Luan showed me how Flutter and Flame work, the more I realized how a game engine can work well on this platform. So that caught my eyes and say, yeah, that's a very good platform for us to build a game engine, to build games. And the community is very nice on Flutter. So that kept me going, motivated on work on Flame and work on Flutter. And that's it.
Yeah, I came into Flame from the other end. I was stuck on a container ship for a month and making my own game, and then I had no internet, and I started fixing things with Flame, and then I started publishing PRs, and then just went deeper and deeper, and now I'm stuck in the physics engine.
The best part.
Oh yeah.
Luan is a physicist, so
yeah, I'm not kidding. I really like physics.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, we have a few more questions. Let's go them quickly because we're already over time.
I think there's another one that you skipped about, is it possible to paint a widget to the canvas? And I think you can answer that one, Eric, because you built something cool.
Where?
It's a few scrolls above, yeah.
Are you going to answer me?
Oh no, this is a good one for you because you built the overlay thing.
All right. So at the moment, you can call to draw a widget on the canvas directly. You can call canvas.draw and pass a widget. That's not possible. But we have implemented an API on Flame that you can mix the game and widgets. We call that API widgets overlay, and it's simple as call a method called edit widgets overlay and pass the widgets you want to show above the game. So we find that was a very nice middle ground to integrate the canvas context with the widgets context, and that's what we have today.
And it basically uses the stack component, right, from Flutter. So it's very customizable if you want to do something really crazy and draw like several components in between stuff and have multiple games, even if you want to.
Yeah, it's really useful to get something from the Flutter API into your game screen. So like a menu or a pause menu or something like that. It's really useful for that.
Yeah. All right, I think we're already over time, so if we missed your question, sorry. You can always reach us on Discord or any other medium and ask them for us personally, and we will be happy to answer. And I think that's it. I want to thank you, everyone that joined the event, both that joined yeah, I want to dash too. So anyway, you make me lose my train of thought here. Thank you all to help build the events. Thank you, Rafa. Thank you, Renan, Lucas, Luan. And thank you all to everyone that joined us here. It's really cool to see so many people on our first event, and I hope that we will have more of that in the future. And regard that, we will hoping to have some community support on this event. So we hope so people can send presentations. We will open this space for anyone that wants to present games, patches. So just making clear that this is not something for the team. This is for the community. We are building Flame for the community, so this space is for the community. And that's it. Thank you, everybody. I don't know if any other team wants to say anything, so go ahead, and that's it.
Yeah, see you next edition sometime soon. We hope we have someone, two people from the community, like we have Rafael today here. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
This is great, guys.
Awesome. Don't forget to join our links. There's all the links regarding the Flame in our Discord on the description of the video. So yeah, be sure to join that.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
I always wanted to say that on a live stream.
And give a star on GitHub.
Yeah, that's
and
the
ring
most
the bell.
important
And ring the bell and get notifications for the channel. Thank you. Oh, and check our merch. That's amazing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a whole new level of YouTube channel.
FlameEngine.org/merch.
We're really influencers now, guys.
All right.
This is it. We made it.
All right. I'm gonna end now. Thank you, everybody. It was very great.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.